Osteen, Davis, and Owen.
They lead the league in interceptions. They can really play the close man-to-man coverage.
Number 37 at the bottom of your picture is Hayes, and he's the league leader with 11.
They're crowding them now. They're crowding the Cowboys right now.
Ron Springs replaces Newhouse, and that's Springs to the outside. Dropped it, stopped by Rod Martin.
And nobody to throw to downfield. Danny White looked downfield and then just dumped it out to Springs. Rod Martin plays the outside, too. He's been cut a couple of times and has come back now to make Al Davis's selection look pretty good.
Keeps bouncing back. And Al Davis, who has done quite a rebuilding job, as has Tom Landry and Tex Schramm and the Cowboy organization. Butch Johnson, Preston Pearson in the offensive picture now. Butch comes out wide to the right. Preston Pearson stays back in the backfield.
And Mullen moved into the line. They're going to put a rush on.
A lot of people feel that's the best way to counteract the shotgun. It's intended for Butch Johnson. Otis McKinney, the 5th defensive back for Oakland, is on the defense, and Danny White will stay in the punt.
And the thing they say about the Oakland defense, it never lines up the same way twice. Hendricks even goes on his own a lot, but it's hard to look at movies and films and try to get a game plan because they're never in the same thing twice.
As a rule, they start with a 3-man front, and then they make a lot of changes. Sometimes 6 defensive backs, sometimes 5 as they had then, sometimes a 4-man front.
Look out for Ira Matthews.
He is back deep for Oakland. Danny White the punt. Under a pretty good rush, and Matthews will field it at the 45, and Oakland will start in good shape. Down inside the 35 to the 34. It'll be 1st and 10 Oakland. Benny Barnes made the tackle, but the Raiders come out with a lot of smoke. 33-yard kick by White.
And remember, they've already gotten the idea that Washington is kicking San Diego around. This would really be a notch on the belt for them to knock this one off today. Move ahead in the division.
The Oakland offensive line, Shell, Upshaw, the veterans, Dalby, another veteran, one of 2 centers the franchise has had. Marvin Lawrence and Raymond Chester, the tight end.
There's Brant, Bobby Chandler, who's a great one-on-one receiver, Plunkett, Jensen, and Van Egan.
2 fullbacks operating for Oakland. And Plunkett goes right to work. Pulls it down and throws high, intended for one of his fullbacks, Derek Jensen. Looking back into the sunlight, and Plunkett hung it a little too high. Charlie Waters back with him.
And Randy White came in and actually got part of Plunkett. The pocket stayed together pretty decently for the first play. Again, it was run action with 2 big running backs in there. Here it is, Jones, Cole, Randy White, and Harvey Martin. Watch for Harvey Martin against Shell. Quickness can beat Shell.
The Dallas linebackers, Hegman, Brunig at the middle, and D.D. Lewis.
Barnes, Mitchell, Waters, and Thurman for Stallings secondary, and they're beginning to play really good football back there.
It'll be 2nd and 10 Oakland. At the Dallas 34. Dallas goes into the flex, and Plunkett gets to Matthews. Nothing doing is Larry Cole, who was sick overnight with a dose of the flu. Here's the final score. The Falcons beat the Eagles.
Almost made it into overtime, didn't it? Here's the flex. You can see Larry Cole is up on the far side, and Too Tall Jones is coming inside to seal it off. And, of course, the fellow that scores touchdowns against the Redskins made a good penetration tackle.
In the Atlanta-Philadelphia game, Tim Mazzetti kicked a 37-yard field goal with 7 seconds left to win for Atlanta. Blitz is on. Raymond Chester beats it, as does Plunkett. First down, Oakland.
Randy Hughes made the tackle. There's Cole being picked up. Plunkett just did get it away. A great play by the quarterback. Plunkett had to hang in there.
Dennis Thurman from his safety position. 14-yard gain, first down, Oakland. With the 2 fullbacks, Derek Jensen and Mark Van Egan at 2nd and 5. The line of scrimmage, the Dallas 6. No score yet, but Oakland at the door. Plunkett drops. Good protection, penalty marker down. Chester touchdown.
Looks like offensive holding.
And now the indicators against Dallas.
They tried to hold Raymond Chester up on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the big tight end, see if he can pick it up now. By by the way, the pass protection is excellent. Here's Harvey Martin to the outside. Shell's doing the job on him. And evidently somebody grabbed Raymond Chester as he came off the line of scrimmage. Good-looking play and a great-looking drive by Oakland.
Enforced on the kickoff.
You heard the call from the referee, Jerry Markbright, that the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The Vikings and the Buccaneers. Minnesota winning, eliminating Tampa Bay from playoff possibilities. 21-10 the final.
Barr has missed 2 extra points in 36 attempts.
Last week was a really tough time. Bob Chandler is the holder. Barr. The extra point is good. And the Raiders, with 10 minutes, 1 second left first quarter, lead 7-0 over Dallas.
Impressively, too. They took it and shoved it right on in, didn't they?
Remember, there will be a penalty enforced on the kickoff. 7-0 Oakland.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
And now Dallas will operate on 3rd and 1 from their own 29 with 3 tight ends. Cosby, Salvi, and Dupree. Salvi moves over to the left behind Cosby now. And now Salvi comes back on the outside maneuver. Dallas tries for the first down. Looks like they have it. Matuzak. A reformed John Matuzak.
Is he something, though? They say he's conscientious, but I'll tell you one thing, he's a load. Watch him, number 72 to the left part of your screen. He's 6'8" or 9", about 285. And when you see him just in street clothes, he looks like he weighs about 185 until you walk up next to him.
The Browns beat the Jets 17-14, and Cleveland continues to roll, upping their record to 9-4. They had trailed for a long time. 10-4 make it. White, with a lot of time, chased by Hendricks. Fires for Dupree, and he has it. Pickup of about 5. Hendricks all over Danny White. Mike Davis made the tackle on Dupree.
And notice now, when the receivers get the ball, they're immediately tackled. A good man-to-man defensive team, and there are not many of them around in the NFL these days. Here's Hendricks putting on pressure from the outside. Actually almost has a sack. And Dupree, as soon as he takes the ball, he's already being hit by Mike Davis, the young man out of Colorado. They really climb on top of your receivers in a hurry.
4-yard pickup after all that. Raymond Chester, who scored the touchdown for Oakland, number 88. Dorsett breaks into the secondary. A Tony hit by Burgess Owens, and had it not been for Owens, Dorsett was off to the races. First down, Dallas.
Donovan and Herb Scott did a great job on the left side. Now look at the center now. That's Fitzgerald. He gets good position. Donovan just buried the inside man that filled that hole, the linebacker.
It'll be second down now from the 20, as Oakland stopped that last effort for no gain. The Raiders lead the Cowboys 7-0. Touchdown pass from Jim Plunkett to Raymond Chester.
Oakland's up around the line of scrimmage again.
One man deep. Cowboys give to Dorsett, and Dorsett will score. Dorsett on the outside, trap blocked by Jay Salvi.
He now has 61 yards. He's heading for 1,000. He only needs about 5 or 6 more. Again, you run straight at it. If everybody is strung out all the way across the field, if you can get 2 good blocks. Boy, it's a good block by Scott on the linebacker, and a superb block.
And a good block by Timmy Newsom as well. And Dorsett doesn't need much more than that.
That's one of the slickest, fastest drives you'll ever see. It didn't seem like it had much going. Half the way through it, it looked like it was going to sputter, and then it took off.
A lot of that finesse you were talking about was involved in that one. It'll be Charlie Waters holding. Raquel Septien kicking. He has 51 in a row this year. Make it 5-2. And make the score in this contest, Dallas 7, Oakland 7. The drive put together like a picture puzzle.
There's Dante Pastorini, the former Houston quarterback. Was all right here until he broke his leg early in the year.
We were talking with the Oakland people yesterday, and I was asking if they had any plans to activate Dante, and they said nope. Not unless something happens to Plunkett. He got us there, and we're going to stick with him. Tony Dorsett has just set an NFL rushing record with 1,000 yards in his first 4 seasons. Never been done before. Springs bangs for a first down. Burgess Owens makes the tackle. Springs down near the Oakland 35.
Watch Rafferty come across from right guard and trap the nose man. Let's see what happens on it. At 64, watch the right part of your screen. Scott goes over and takes the nose man. He takes the linebacker and buries him. And Springs is one of the great straight-ahead runners. He really hits with a shock.
That's when he is so effective.
He's been very quiet this year, too.
When he gets headed up the field, he can get some things done. He's back there still with Dorsett now as Newhouse gets a rest. Dorsett goes behind Springs, deep in the eye as Drew Pearson comes in motion. White looking for Tony Hill. Has Tony Hill. Looking right back into that bright sunshine. I don't think Hill picked it up.
And you talk about tight man-to-man. Lester Hayes is running stride for stride with Hill. Most people think you got to double Tony Hill and take your chance with Drew Pearson, but they're playing solo man-to-man tough coverage.
Lester Hayes, Lester the molester, as they call him here, has had a spectacular year.
He's had 3 interceptions, including a touchdown, called back, and he still has 11 legally.
And called back not because of something he did. There was a violation elsewhere.
Lester the molester?
That's creative. 2nd and 10 at the 35. White again looking in the direction of Tony Hill and severely overthrown as he was covered by Dwayne Osteen. Here's Hill.
Tony Hill now playing against that coverage. They'll get it right on you. That's Dwayne Osteen.
Familiar territory here in Oakland, in this area, to Tony Hill. To Pat Donovan. Barnes. Stanford.
Benny Barnes.
Benny Barnes. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 35.
They're all up on the line of scrimmage again.
Billy Joe Dupree and Drew Pearson out wide to the right. Butch Johnson, Hill to the left, and Preston Pearson back with Danny White in the shotgun. Hill has it deflected by Osteen, who's made a perfect defensive play.
Osteen has just beaten Monty Jackson out. Jackson, of course, came here from the Rams in a very expensive acquisition. And this kid Osteen just flat has beaten him out. Watch the coverage on this. And as I told you, back there, there's nobody but you and the receiver. That's good coverage.
Raphael Septien has made an appearance on the field along with his holder on the right side of your picture, Charlie Waters.
You know, he's attempted the fewest field goals in the entire National Football League.
Hasn't really had to, as they've scored 52 touchdowns now. This one is going to be from 53 yards out. Perhaps a little bit of a helping wind, more cross than behind.
He's 0 for 4 from this distance.
That one might be good. It is. Septien from 53 yards out.
The young man that was born in Mexico City, and his dad was a very top soccer player himself. It was low, but it was right on, wasn't it? A knockdown shot.
The Raiders put very little rush on, and he had time to do it.
TCR Crossfire Racing, only possible on the wide open track. For the first time, 2 loops connected by 4 lanes of no man's land called Crossfire Alley. To win this race, you must stay on the suicide loop and risk a head-on collision with a jam car. So every lap becomes a countdown of nerves, speed, and lane-changing skill. And only TCR's got it. TCR Crossfire Racing, wide open racing from Ideal.
Septien's field goal, they say now, is 52 yards, which is the longest he has ever kicked.
He had 2 51-yarders.
Keith Moody kicked for Oakland. Swings to the outside with some blockers in front. And a lot of blockers. Fumble. And Dallas may have it back. The Cowboys have the football. They lead The recovery by Doug Cosby.
And what a great run back by Moody. Here's the kick. I tell you, Septian is getting pretty good distance. Let's see where this one comes down. Well, this isn't too good. This is about the 13-yard line. Now the wedge forms. Boy, they're in pretty good shape here.
Look at the blockers in front of him when he gets up close to midfield.
Septian is getting ready to make the tackle. He was withdrawing just temporarily.
But Dallas winds up with the football. They'll have it 1st and 10. 2nd and 6 at the 50. The fake. Danny White keeps the football, throws to Dupree. Wide open is Billy Joe Dupree. Inside the 20. Inside the 15-yard line is Dupree. Good fake by Danny White.
Good play selection. Danny Reeves is up in the booth, and they must have picked this up. Watch the good fakes. The fake here, they're pulling people the other way. Springs went back the other way. Now Dupree just comes through the cleared out area. Tony Hill's going straight up, and BJ begins to turn it upfield.
Watch the block by Drew Pearson right there. Walter Payton passed Larry Zonka to go into 6th place on the all-time rushing list in the NFL. Handoff, touchdown, Ron Springs. Behind the block by Saldi. Dallas moves out in front now 16-7. Atlanta has already beaten Philadelphia, so the Cowboys could move into a 1st place tie.
Oakland has 19 yards rushing. They just haven't had a chance to have the football. Dallas gets the ball and keeps it. Straight ahead, Springs goes. Good looking blocking. They cut everybody down. They got those big fellas cut down. And boy, they're tough to rush against. Incredible. Dallas now has over 90 yards rushing and 83 passing. They're moving the football.
Waters holding and pointing. Septian will kick. Out of those hands. Good. Hits the upright. Not good. And that breaks his streak.
At 52 in a row, huh?
This year he had 77, I think. 78 after he made that first one today. And that breaks his string. That was the longest one active in the NFL.
Well, he hit it dead center.
The upright. And so it's Dallas 16, Oakland 7.
You've got to double him or your quarterback will come out of the huddle.
Plunkett in somewhat of a slump in recent weeks. Sends Chester in motion to the left. And Plunkett under pressure again. Still finds Chambers, who shakes one tackler and stays on his feet. Is knocked out, bounds inside the 40 to 38. Plunkett hung in there.
And I mean to tell you, the pocket is being squeezed right around the young man from Stanford. Watch this pressure now. White to the top. That's Dutton to the bottom. Ed Jones is in there. They all arrive, and Plunkett stayed right in and even got to see the completion. Chandler is a lot like Jimmy Orr or Raymond Berry. And I'm only saying that because he's worked on individual moves, and he's a very clever, well-conditioned athlete. He almost gets out of the jam.
3rd and 1 here in Oakland.
2 tight ends in there, Pat.
Bob Brennan just lifted off the field. Dallas. Kenny King breaks into the Dallas secondary. Dennis Thurman, the only man with a chance, and Thurman made the tackle.
King comes in with over 700 yards. Again, he got the bad foot sprain, didn't work out much of the week, but he can really trip it. Watch the footwork. You talk about fast feet. Van Egan gets a good block on the outside. Look at the move by King. He uses Mickey Marvin's block. Bad foot and all, he is really some good-looking ball carrier.
I watched him in practice yesterday, and if I were a betting man, I would have bet you anything that he wouldn't be able to play holding.
He's 10 of 14 up to the 39. He's got a pretty good feel for it right where it is now.
He had a tough time last week, as we mentioned before. They had all kinds of people showing up this week. Field goal is good to audition for the kicking job. In fact, Barr said to me yesterday at practice, "What are you doing here? Did you come for a tryout?"
Well, you know what they say, everybody wants to be a kicker until Sunday.
Very true. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. These folks here would not like the idea of the Raiders leaving to go elsewhere.
This is only the second sellout this season, right?
Right.
This is a short yardage situation, so you got the 2 big tight ends in there.
Cowboys leading The Oakland Raiders 16-10.
Each quarterback has only been sacked once. I think the offensive lines really have been doing a tremendous job protecting their valuable commodity back there in the pocket.
While we got just a second, we'd like to welcome, I guess it's not a stranger, certainly not the CBS broadcast, but the man who'll be joining the NBA broadcast team, Rick Barry. And it's good to say, and good to say, have you back.
Where'd you come in from? Alaska? This is.
Well, it's a little chilly here. You fellas, you must be drinking something to keep warm or something. I don't know.
Well, I try. Gosh knows I try.
Well, I just hope the NBA is as exciting as the NFL has been this year. And you fellas have done a fine job covering it. I'm looking forward to the second half. Raiders got to get back into it.
Okay, Rick, take care now, will you?
Good to see you. Let's check into the Dallas defense. Ira Matthews and Mark Van Egan will be the running backs or pass receivers, as the case might be for the Oakland Raiders. No penalty markers. And good protection for Plunkett. As now he struggles out, and now he's hit from behind by Harvey Martin. Fumbles, and Dallas has the football. Ed Jones.
And Harvey Martin just kept coming. Plunkett that time drifted out of the pocket. But you said the good blocking was there, Pat, and it was early. There's a twist up front. They're stunning. That's Larry Cole to the left. Randy White's down. Now Ed jumps up in front, and Harvey has him from behind. The ball comes out.
And Ed Jones makes the recovery. And Dallas has it 1st and 10 at the Oakland 20. They lead. He hit one earlier from 52 yards out. He hits down and makes it Dallas 19, Oakland 10. 2 fumble recoveries by the Cowboys have helped set up 2 scoring drives. Dallas 19, Oakland 10. Big play by John Dutton, and Chris Barr will come on now. The 3rd sack of Plunkett. Bob Chandler will hold Barr from 38 yards out.
Chandler has to actually tilt that ball after he gets it down.
High enough and far enough and good enough. 19-13. And that extra point that Dallas missed continues to loom very large. Barr back on track after an off week last week and under a lot of pressure here in Oakland all this week.
Ira was saying maybe he was hit when he was out of bounds. He's gone into both benches on the last 2 plays.
I think he likes the one on this side a little bit better.
Pretty good rush by the 2 defensive ends on this one out of a 3-man rush.
Line of scrimmage is the 48-yard line in Oakland territory. Plunkett 16 out of 35, the 1 touchdown to Chester. He drops again. A lot of time. He's going deep for Brent. Waters the interception. Charlie Waters picked it off at the 10. And now he runs out of bounds.
That's the 5th interception for Charlie Waters this year. That time Plunkett just loaded it up and tried to throw it over the defense. A crossing pattern would have probably been even safer than this one. I didn't think Cliff Branch even looked up for the ball until it was almost too late. Underthrown.
So Charlie Waters picks it off for Dallas. And for whatever reasons, he ran out of bounds and stopped the clock with 16 seconds left to play.
Why in the world would he run out of bounds? Well, I understand why you would run out of bounds. I would too, but if he just goes back to the inside of the field and makes a couple of good moves, the game's over.
Maybe he had on his mind that he might fumble.
Or that brace on his knee.
Right. All they have to do now is just do what they call the chicken kneel in some places.
The flop play.
Bob Stenner produced. Again so well. Sandy Grossman the pictures. Our director. Again so well. Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Brooks. Dallas moves into a first-place tie with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Who have now lost 2 straight games.
And both now have records of 11-3. San Diego lost earlier, and Oakland loses as Tom Landry strolls off. So they are tied for first place in the AFC's Western Division with records of 9-5.
And of course, Dallas plays Los Angeles, and Ferragamo's out.
Should be interesting. From the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, then, for Tom Brookshire, this is Pat Summerall saying so long.